hello. Oh, shit. What was that?
Cut.
What was that?
Sorry, I walked away for 2 seconds to get my phone.
Damn it, Trey.
It sounded like somebody was crumpling a bag of chips. You screwed up my build-up. I had this grand welcome, everybody.
Welcome, one and all.
It's just
the
gone to
Advent
shit.
7 podcast. Why am I talking like Dracula? I have no idea.
Everybody likes Dracula. Everybody likes Dracula from Castlevania, actually.
I mean, he's daddy.
Is he Daddy the Father, though?
Yes, he is.
Oh, Daddy the Father. No, Usopp. He's not your daddy. Okay, so, yeah, welcome everybody to the Advent 7 podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and I'm joined by...
Trey, the late.
And Spencer.
All right, and today we are going to recap episode 3 of my teen romantic comedy SNAFU Climax. But first, I want to just throw in some plugs real quick, get them out of the way. First of all, thank you to everybody tuning in today. It means a lot to us that you're listening to us talk about shows that we like. If you've watched the current season of My Teen Romantic Comedy SNAFU up until now, but you haven't checked out our previous podcast episodes, please go check them out. We talk about a lot of things with each of the respective episodes. We dissect them, we give our opinions, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave them some time. Also, one of our friends, Julian, has actually written a new comic book review over the Neil Gaiman book, The Tragical... okay, this is a long title. The Tragical Comedy or Comical Tragedy of Mr. Punch, or, to be short, the comic book called Mr. Punch. He's written up a review over it, and it is currently on our website, advent7.com, so please head on over and give it a read. It's a fantastic dark comedy that has that signature Neil Gaiman style. Also, please follow us on Twitter at advent_7 and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our latest content, as well as check out our website, again, advent7.com, for news, reviews, etc. on the latest anime, games, and comics. Okay, now that's out of the way, onto the podcast. So, guys... let's start off by tackling the first scene of episode 3. We get to see a bit more insight on what happened when Hikigaya went to go get the spare clubroom key from the teacher in the last episode. That really random scene that just happened. And we were talking about it last podcast too, that it felt really out of place, like it didn't really matter, but now we know it does. So if you guys wouldn't mind, just start us off with what happened there.
It was really just what it looked like, just showing him going and get the key, saying, hey, she's already got it, and just kind of leading off from there. Like, not a whole lot happens, but it's more the part after that happens, where she's just kind of in the evening, sun's going down. She just looks at a box and just says that, what was it? Something like a bird doesn't ruin its nest before they leave, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm actually slightly confused about that myself. Like, does that mean that she's like leaving the school, or what's going on here?
Maybe.
Okay, we could take this one of two ways. It could be that she could be leaving the school, or it could be that she is recognizing that the students for the service club are 1 year away from graduating, so could be something like that. They don't have any other members to keep the club going after this year, so this is her nest technically that she's watching over. Mm-hmm. And once they're gone, who knows what's going to happen after that?
Yeah, the club might not be a thing afterwards. She spent a lot of her free time just helping these 3 specific kids out. I don't think that the teacher was ever invested in the concept of a service club itself. She was invested in specifically these 3 kids, specifically Yukino. So the fact that they're all, moving up the ladder, and they're going to be like, whatever the term is for juniors, I guess third years, in Japanese school. So they're going to be like, yeah, seniors. So they're going to be consumed with, college prep and stuff the next year, so she's probably not going to get to see him that much. So to her, this is kind of like the moment is passing by and she's letting them go. Even though from my perspective, she kind of always was watching them from afar. She never was that close to them. But I guess from her perspective, she's got to stop being so invested in them because they are moving on without her.
Yeah, I suppose I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel kind of forced though?
It just feels out of left field if we're going to be going with something like that. Because like you were saying, she was she did always just take kind of like an afar like look at them. She was never really like in their faces with anything. She just sort of showed up when she felt that she needed to, or when they were going off to like functions like the what was it, the summer camp in season 1, that sort of thing. But apart from that, she was pretty hands off for the most part. She just showed up when she felt it was necessary to kind of keep nudging them forward, essentially.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess I'm still of the mindset that it was just kind of like some sort of strange comment of like she's going to be leaving soon. She hasn't told anyone, but I guess future episodes will tell us that.
Yeah, that's true. You never know when whatever happens in this episode is going to get called back on in a future episode. I personally just didn't understand why that whole clubroom key thing had happened in the prior episode, and I suppose it was to lead into this scene to either at least give us another glimpse of the teacher so we get to see her, just so we get to see her, or if it's because it's leading into another plot line regarding her. She did seem kind of flustered when Hikigaya showed up.
Yeah, she was slacking off or something.
Yeah, she was just slacking. Like, I'm totally working.
It's like 100%. Everyone seems really busy here. It's like, well, almost everyone. It's like, I'm just taking a quick break.
Just one quick smoke break. That's all. 1 minute.
I do want to point something out. I think part of this flashback was to establish something that might have already been established before, but to remind the audience is that Hikigaya doesn't have Yui, neither Yui's nor Yukino's phone number or contact information.
Wait, who doesn't?
Hikigaya. He doesn't have Yukino's phone number, and I don't think he has Yui's either.
I'm pretty sure he had at least one of their phone numbers because Yui, like...
He has Yui's. I think that was something, like, he doesn't have Yukino's number. I know that was a bit. I can't quite remember what the sub said for when she mentioned Yui.
She asked if Yui had her number, and Yui does have Yukino's number. But
yeah, that makes sense.
But he definitely doesn't have Yukino's number. I don't know if he has Yui's, but I'm just going to blanket statement say that he probably doesn't have either of their numbers.
Well, I'm pretty
sure that he's got Yui's.
Yui texted him about meeting up, for like multiple things, like when they shopped for Yukino's glasses. Like they traded text messages then.
Yeah, no, I know for a fact that he's got Yui's number at least.
Then he definitely. It's just to establish that he still doesn't have Yukino's number.
Yeah.
Yukino, like there up until now, there's been that, for lack of better terms, facade about how Yukino and Hachiman are not friends. But, that clearly isn't true anymore. They've gotten so close over recent episodes that they are friends, and they know it. But up until this point, I mean, yeah, they are. We all know they are, even if they won't admit
they haven't said it. It doesn't count.
I went back and I checked subs quick. She was asking, it's like, okay, do you have her contact info? It's like, no. It's like, does Yui have her contact info? It's like, no. Not really sure why they did that, because it seems fairly clear that she does in fact have her contact info. Not really sure why he
said
that.
They were talking about like a specific app or something.
It may have just been him being kind of flustered and just like, but weren't you with Yui? It's like, couldn't you just have her call her? Mm-hmm. It's like sort of thing. I feel like there's something like that. There was like some sort of joke there in the in the original source material that just
Didn't carry over.
Didn't carry over just because we don't have any like instantaneous inner monologue sort of stuff from the characters in the anime.
Seeing Chekhov's gun right now. He's going to need to get in contact with Yukino at some point. He's just not going to have her number. It's going to be a life or death situation, and it's going to come up.
Typical. Absolutely typical for this kind of show. I'd see that happening. Okay, well then, yeah, we get to see the teacher a bit more. Trey, I'm sure you're happy about that. I know you wanted to see more of their teacher in general.
Yeah.
So, she's probably best girl. You know, she would be best girl if she had more time.
She's a very interesting individual, and yeah, she's very mysterious because we don't see a lot of her.
She's hot. What? She is. We all know it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, she just can't seem to settle down and get married.
I mean, she was only 10 years younger.
Dude, that trip that they took in the first season where the teacher's just constantly texting Hikigaya while he's playing video games, she's like, "You're ignoring my texts, aren't you? You're there, aren't you? You're reading these. Pick up your phone." It's like, oh, no.
Like goes behind his back and calls his younger sister to drag him out of the house.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The teacher can be a manipulator when she wants to be too.
She's
great.
a complete and utter manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want more of her in the show, because she's the only one who can counteract Haruno.
God, I personally wish that the teacher would just go one-on-one up against Haruno. But every single time that Haruno shows up, the teacher just takes the, exhausted approach of, "What do you want? Why are you here this time?" I personally
probably got enough of Haruno when she was actually her student.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. No, but the teacher, again, she doesn't want to get directly involved in anything. I really cherish those moments when one of the most doting, caring characters who's experienced in a show stands up for the main characters and just, slaps the villain across the face. I love those moments.
Yeah.
But, we got to see more of her. I got more Totsuka action. That was awesome.
Yes.
I immediately stood up and cheered as soon as I saw him enter frame, and I'm like, yes, my wishes for the past 2 weeks are finally being answered. But then they got smashed down again because Totsuka's like, "Oh, I'm busy. I can't hang out this week or next week or the week after that." And Hikigaya actually asks Totsuka himself. Hikigaya initiates the invitation.
He initiates the entire conversation. It's like, "Yo, you want to hang out?" Mm-hmm. It's like, "I would absolutely love to, except I have literally no time."
And I'm like, "No,
I have no time.
Make
whatsoever.
time. I know you've got time. Just do it."
He doesn't. He's actually busy. He has a life.
Drop the tennis club. It's not worth it.
Yes, it is. What are you talking about? Have you not watched The Prince of Tennis?
I at least watched enough Prince of Tennis to know how the dinosaurs went extinct.
That's true.
But no, Totsuka wants it. Hikigaya wants it. Just need to try hard enough. They're not trying hard enough. But I was just happy to see Totsuka in general, and honestly, Totsuka was asking Hikigaya just general questions about, "Are you okay? What's going on? How's the club going?"
They're friends now. For all intents and purposes.
Yeah, they're totally friends. What I loved about their relationships in season 1 is how quickly they became friends. Aside from all of the, they're totally going to be a thing kind of joke.
Oh, yeah. All of the just sudden is oh my gosh.
But you're a guy.
So
we can't
beautiful.
do this with each other.
What?
No, aside from all that great content, they've been friends since the beginning, and I always liked that. I liked seeing how Hikigaya had at least one healthy friendship where he didn't feel like he needed to put up a facade or put on airs or anything.
I feel
he
like
could
he's
just
still putting on
be
something.
Something's definitely coming onto him whenever they talk to Totsuka. That's a fact. But we don't get any inner monologue with Hikigaya when Totsuka shows up. He just is talking to Totsuka, and he looks genuinely happy to be interacting with a friend. maybe the light novels, again, say otherwise, but at least from the show perspective, I've always liked just seeing them have a good, healthy friendship. Well, okay, healthy's still a stretch, but a friendship.
One where he's not bashing on it.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes, precisely. Hachiman is not dissecting his own friendship with Totsuka, not beating down on it, not saying like, well, this is why this friendship isn't going to work. It's like, dude, just enjoy it, man. Just be friends with this person. So he
definitely feels like he's getting more used to that idea, even with the people from like Hayama's group, like Toby, which pops up later in the episode. He's like, he kind of rings him around the neck, just kind of draws him in. He's like, yeah, you just gotta feel the moves, just gotta feel the music and everything. And he's just kind of like looks slightly annoyed, but he's just like, I'm just going to tolerate this at this point. And it's like, all right, yeah, fine.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get there.
But first, possibly my favorite scene of this entire episode. We get Saki running out the classroom at the speed of light, and everyone's like, what's going on? Just after Hikigai gets a text from his sister, and it's time. We learn that who's going to be part of the next class coming in. And Hikigai's sister... God, why can I never remember her name? Komachi. Yes, Komachi got in, and Saki's little brother got in, and it was sweet, and just loved all the happiness and the tears.
Oh yeah, no, I liked the bit with Saki and her little brother. That seemed like she got lots of validation. Just like, I'm just like so proud of you right now.
I feel like
going way back to the previous season, because I have been rewatching the show as this has been going on.
How far are you?
I was watching season 1. I'm very close to the end. I think I've got like 1 or 2 episodes left in the first season. Okay. But yeah, it's like that. There was a little more Saki stuff going on back then than I realized.
Yeah, she was a central point in the first season. Had a fairly good
for like an episode or something.
Yeah, and it was one of the episodes I remember a lot. But I feel like a lot of things I said in the previous podcast episode are coming to bite me, because I was complaining last time about how we don't even like see Kawasaki's younger brother. We haven't seen him since season 1, and then we saw him this episode. I'm like, holy shit, he's back, and he has different colored hair. I thought his hair was brown last time. Maybe I'm hallucinating.
I don't think it was.
Google.
Almighty Google, tell us the answer.
But yeah, he shows up again, and I was, impressed that they called back to this character. It was nice getting to see her and her brother interact, and they have a similar healthy relationship to Hikigai and Komachi.
Oh, Komachi is like, yeah, Komachi's like, when she first like started just kind of like crying, just kind of like soft crying on Hikigai's chest, and she's like, okay, I see this, like, this kind of sweet. And then Yui shows up, and then she actually starts crying for real. It's like, and there it is. That's more what I was expecting from this.
Mm-hmm. There's the punch in the dick that I normally get.
Punch in the dick? What?
I mean,
okay,
not wrong. Okay, I think I was wrong. No, like her brother did have blue hair last time too. I don't know why I thought he had brown hair. That just goes to show it's been a long time since we've seen him. But what was funny to me is that when he approaches Hikigaya all friendly, Hikigaya immediately is like, I don't know you. Like, stop talking to me so casually. I'm not your older brother. So
it's like, you call me senpai or nothing else at all.
Well, he does call Hikigaya senpai. Hikigaya's like, all right, I'm going to toss you in the air during the ceremony. And the little brother's like, you're going to German suplex me? So it goes to show that Hikigaya is still very protective of Komachi, because when he senses danger, when he senses a boy his little sister's age who she might get involved with, maybe he's like, stay away. I'm not your older brother. I never will be. Stay away. You will not call me Oni-san. I'm not your Oni-san.
It's like, I don't think that had anything to do with Komachi. I think it just was him like, don't call me your big brother. I'm not your big brother. I only am big brothers to little sisters everywhere.
When I saw that happen, like the first thing that popped in my mind was the animography video that had Hikigai in his thing. It's like, I'm not your Onisan. I'm not your brother.
Oh, dude,
just like
animography from Quill. Yeah, dude, that's exactly what I thought of too. That's like
I just suddenly thought of that. It's like, that was a trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was like one of the best parts of the animography that year. That was animography 2013. I miss
another
Quill's
thing that will not get any more of, unfortunately.
Yeah. To be fair, like there were other AMV artists on YouTube that tried picking up the mantle after Quill left, and there were some good ones that came out the following couple years, but I don't think any of them kept doing it after a while. There might have been one or two that stayed on it, but you know, maybe it's because Quill was so obsessive, but Quill's work was just the best. Like. They made some of the best AMVs I'd ever seen.
Yeah, looking back, there's a 2019.
That clip, that clip where he says, "I'm not sure Onisan," follows up the Aremo clip where ISA says to the main character of that show, "Onisan, I need your advice," and then it cuts to Hikigai. He's like, "I'm not your Onisan." Okay, so getting back on track. We get to see that really heartwarming scene. I feel like a lot of the stress that Komachi was going through that she hid up until now had finally, expressed itself. She was crying. She was with Yui. She was really happy. It was a contrast, a nice contrast from when she had bowed to Hikigaya and she seemed so composed. It goes to show that, she was going through her own stuff, but she had to go through it. So she's growing. After that, we get more Iraha and Hikigaya fan service. We get more moments between just the two of them and more of their very exclusively witty banter. The way that those two go back and forth to each other is just rapid.
What? Were you going to hit on me? Sorry, no. It's okay.
It's always like that.
It's like, sorry. It's just like I can't do that right now. It's just like, and Hikigaya was just like, yeah, no, I know how this is going. Just shut off.
Just get to the point. Yep, I know.
Just get to the point. I know what you're saying.
You're going to reject me for the 30th time, this year. What is it? What do you need? Yeah.
So how do you feel about the concept of being called an older brother?
Oh, that was weird. I was actually starting to get put off by that conversation. I'm just like, what are we even talking about anymore? I mean, Hikigaya liked it. He liked being called an older brother. And Iraha's like, okay, let's put it in context this way. I don't like it. Like, most girls don't like it when you call them a little sister. Hikigaya didn't get it, so she's like, how about this? And then basically calls him, says to him, like, you're like a father figure. Yeah, you're more like a dad. Like, she purposely adds in some awkward humor into it, like awkward laughs to show that she's uncomfortable, and immediately just hits him. It immediately hits Hikigaya like a train, and he's like,
Hikigaya has taken some serious damage here.
I don't like this at all. Yeah, so
yeah, no, I could like kind of see what Hikigaya was just like. It's like, how would you feel if someone called you an older brother? It's like, well, I mean, that's a fact. Mm-hmm. I am an older brother, so I'm not really seeing what your point is here.
He wasn't looking at it from an emotional perspective. Then once she put it into that kind of context, and then he pulled back. It's like, oh no. Yeah, okay, that is not cool, actually.
So we finished up the conversation with Iraha. She's basically, she's doing what she normally does. She's manipulating Hikigaya into helping with the prom, even though he's like, I didn't have to do this. I kind of didn't want to do this, so... But I guess I'm doing this because you just said I was helping. Also, we get a conversation that kind of brings us back to the first season with the school festival. Things are going too perfectly right now,
which is ironic.
I don't think it's like similar. I think it's the exact opposite of what was happening with the school festival. Everything is going perfectly.
Yeah, everything's going perfectly.
Like the Christmas festival that they were planning before was just like, it was on the rails to be a train wreck because they weren't getting anything done.
Oh no, I'm talking about the school festival in the first season.
First season?
Yes. So it wasn't as perfect, but it's like it's going smoothly because Yukino is kind of taking the reins unintentionally.
Yeah, to the point that Hikigai actually foresees that and tells Iroha while they're talking one-on-one, unsolicited advice, but don't rely on Yukino too much. You gotta take some of this up in your own hands because Yukino has a track record of burning herself out, not knowing when to call it quits, and compensating for any kind of deficiency in production of, this kind of event by just overworking herself. So
yeah, just buckling down on herself.
And when Iroha convinces Hikigai to help out and he shows up to the student council room and sees Yukino and Yui again, Yukino looks, I guess, what would the word be? Like, not disappointed, but like, she just looks sad because she knows why he's there. And she admits that, it's her fault again, so she thanks him for coming. And Hikigai knew that was going to be her reaction because once again, she feels like she's not good enough to do this on her own, even though she wanted to, and her friends once again have to come to her rescue.
I don't really think that she needed rescuing here.
No, I don't think so either.
Like, she was doing really well.
She was doing too well.
Yeah.
Iroha brings up the question is like, why is she not the student council president again?
It's like, well, about that.
Why couldn't she have just been the president?
There was a whole season about that. It's like, this is a long story. Don't worry about it right now. Yeah.
So they start doing like a mock prom event to kind of make a video for promotional purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want to point out something first. It's like something that Spencer could relate to is how they said that they've already announced the prom, and Hikigai is like, but I haven't seen anything about it. You already got it established, and it's like, yeah, we use what is essentially Facebook.
We use social media.
Oh yeah, Spencer, you don't have a lot of social media, do you?
It's like, do you have any?
When it comes to social media, I'm kind of a hermit. I really don't have any social media. I've got a friend back home that gives me shit for not having Facebook of any kind, Facebook, Twitter, or anything.
Yeah,
and I've just kept it up for so long that it's just become a running joke between us.
I mean, like, you're out of college, you have a job now, and the few people you interact with on a daily basis, like, are people you work with or you live with. So, It just kind of comes down whether or not you need it. Personally, I have friends overseas and I have family overseas that I talk to through social media because it's free that way. It's just whether or not it helps you out. But it is fun to give you shit, Spencer. So I totally acknowledge that.
Oh, I'm sure it's fun to give me shit. I don't doubt that.
But Hikigai didn't know anything about it. And I was confused at that moment because the rest of them are all like, how do you not know? What is wrong with you? And his first impulse, Hikigai is like, why are you bullying me? They're like, we're not bullying you. How do you not know?
And that kind of came to a point, and I mentioned this earlier. It's when me and Andrew were watching it, it's like, that's very exclusionary just to be like, well, the people who don't have social media don't care. They probably wouldn't have gone to the prom anyway. So I'm like, that's exclusionary.
I object to that thinking.
Yeah.
I object.
It's like I didn't have most social media until the near the end of my high school year. So I missed out on a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot because the school still put out information, but it was like I missed out on important information since I didn't have social media to get quick access.
I did the opposite thing where I had social media like pretty quickly and I utilized it to avoid school gatherings. Nah, man, I didn't really like going to dances or anything that much. I did go to both my proms, but they were okay. But
I went to both my proms as well. I thought they were pretty good. I had fun.
I went to every homecoming and every prom. I was a dancing fool. I
can say that. No, I'm sure that you were a total freakazoid on the dance floor, Trey. God, I wish we went to the same high school. That would have been awesome. I was going to save this for later, but since we're on the topic, I actually would like to go into some detail a bit more. Like, about your guys' proms and what exactly they were like. Spencer, you said last episode that you didn't really have a prom, right?
No, I had proms.
Oh, you did have prom. Okay. You actually did.
Yeah, I
have a prom queen.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing that I was saying, that I don't think we had, I'm pretty sure we didn't have prom royalty.
Okay.
I don't think we had anything like that. We had like homecoming royalty and stuff like that, and that got put in the papers and everything, but
that's pretty
prom?
cool.
Nah.
That's funny that more emphasis was put on homecoming, but maybe that's because a football game comes with homecoming. Whereas prom is its own separate thing. So in a small town, there's probably less emphasis put on the prom.
Yeah, because there was a whole great big to-do in my town doing homecoming king queen. They were out on the football field, I think like halftime. They announced everything. They took pictures for the paper and all that jazz.
That's pretty cool.
I would have remembered something like prom king and queen, and I can't remember anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that we didn't do that.
Where in your school did you hold the prom, or did you hold your prom at the school? Did you do it at a different location?
No, we held it in the school, in one of the gymnasiums. They put up curtains and everything and decked it out. Not much more so than what they had going on in the episode.
Not an American prom, huh, Trey?
Hey, he went to a small school.
I fucking told you, man. I said it was an American prom because they held it in the gym, and you're like, oh, they don't normally do it at school.
No, depending on the school. Like my high school, both years they try. It's like the 2 years, my junior and senior year. My junior year, they were gonna hold it at the Air Museum off the interstate.
Yep, I've been to that museum.
Yeah, they held it. They tried to hold it there twice. My junior year, there was a really bad storm, so they had to move it to the gym, where it was more fun because it was closer.
Wait, then why did you point that out to me when we were watching the episode? You said that doesn't normally happen in the gym. You didn't mention your own prom.
Yeah, because my prom, my senior year, they held it at the Air Museum, and even my mom told me about how back in her day when they had prom, not only was it at a different venue, they also had to order plates for like dinner.
Oh yeah, that was a thing that we didn't do either. We didn't have any kind of like dinner. I'd heard about that. Is like that's something that I think it was even done in the past at my school, but by the time I got up to high school for prom and everything, they had ditched it just because it was costly, and so they're just like, why don't we just stick this money over here for the actual prom?
Yeah.
And have more time for like dancing and everything, and then stick a little more into like after prom stuff. So yeah, no, like both my proms, they happened in one of the two school gyms. I think it was the smaller gym, but yeah, the smaller gym.
Okay, that's pretty.
We had
nice.
all that.
Yeah, and that's what they do in this episode, is that they don't hold the actual prom yet, but they need to do a practice prom. So they
it's a promotional video.
Yeah. So
it's promotional. They kind of get everyone used to the idea of what it is.
Mm-hmm,
so that way people are kind of prepared with expectations walking in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to educate the rest of the student body on what an American prom is, so that it builds more interest. They're doing marketing, really.
Yeah,
it's super smart. Irha tells them all about how they're already setting up like a website that people can go to. They have that social media account where they're spreading information, and most of the student bodies on that same media platform, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. They're doing a good job at getting a movement, building interest, and that's a presidential thing. That's a council president thing, and Irha is using her brain to figure out how to get what she wants to happen.
Big brain moves.
Big brain moves.
Big brain moves. Yeah.
Yeah, so I highly respect that. And, even though she makes the whole comments about Yukino, like, why isn't Yukino president? It's like, well, we the audience know why, even though Irha wouldn't. And because we know why, I stick to saying consistently that Irha is still a better president. Like, she was the best pick.
Well, I mean, Irha has more of she's the ideas president, and then Yukino is the person that can help her actually put everything together.
Yeah.
And then slowly Irha will learn, like, it's like, okay, I have to do this, this, and this to get this done. But early on, it's like having Yukino there is a very large strength, just so that she's able to learn more easily about like what things need to be done, so long as she's actually taking that to heart, which she does. She's like, yeah, I'm going to make sure that I'm like paying attention to everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, so
yeah.
It's good to have Yukino there. I think that the two of them together make a great team. And I said to Trey while we were watching the episode, that moment where Iraha locks arms with Yukino as they're both like walking towards the student staff. I'm like, there it is.
Oh,
there's
gosh.
the fan service moment. That's the moment that all the light novel readers and the anime community, like, they're all gonna get hyped about that.
Yeah, let's back it up a little bit so we can talk about another one of my favorite moments, the dress rehearsal that is with them getting into costume. It's like Hikigai getting into his suit and then seeing Yukino in once again the suit from the opening, and it's a lovely suit on her. Women who can pull off a suit are just a different class of woman.
It's true. It's totally true.
I think we found Trey's kind of woman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is coming from pure fashion
and opinion, which is okay. We all feel the same here. There's no judging on this podcast.
Yes, there is.
Well,
but yeah,
that's fair, but not on this specific topic. That she wore that tailcoat. She rocked it pretty hard.
I kind of thought it was an interesting thing to put her in a suit rather than a dress for anything, but I don't know. I think it just kind of goes back to like her thing of just kind of like being in charge sort of thing. Kind of preparing for her future where she'll probably be in a position of like power and managerial position.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like you could represent it that way.
She looked so suave and badass. I just didn't even care.
Yeah.
It's symbolism wise, it's her taking the lead, but I think for the specific reason of why they were doing this dress rehearsal, they wanted to make sure they had two people who could dance and make it look good in the video.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, Iraha's going to be one girl, is going to be the girl, and we need a guy. Well, we ain't got a guy until Hikigai shows up.
All the guys suck at dancing.
Right.
All the guys suck, and we don't have Hikigai just to use as a prop. So, Yukino, you're it.
You guys don't understand. This is like the opposite of Shakespeare, where instead of boys playing girls, we gotta have girls playing boys.
Yep.
That's the new aesthetic here, really, and I think we can all get behind it.
One thing I noticed, though, for Hikigaya, he just looked like when I first saw him putting on the suit and everything, I'm just like, something just feels off about this. And then even after Yukino fixed his pocket handkerchief or whatever, and his cufflinks and everything, something still just felt off. And then we walk out to the rest of the group, everyone that's out on the floor, and you see all the guys, and I realized, like, he's not wearing a vest.
Yeah, no.
It's like, that's what I'm realizing.
He doesn't have a three-piece suit.
He's not wearing a vest.
It was pretty weird. I also realized something was missing.
Like, he wasn't wearing a three-piece suit. This was not enough for a prom, but this is it. They're on a low-level prom right now.
Yeah.
Like Hikigai said, he looked like some kind of like deceased pianist or something.
Yeah. No, he would have cleaned up pretty sharply if he had an undervest on there.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's not his aesthetic. So
yeah.
Yeah, but that was cool. You know, we get to see them do this, practice prom. Really, they do the video recording of it. Yukino and Iraha aren't necessarily happy with the way that the first take turns out. So then they decided to like focus on Yui and Hikigai dancing together instead, and be like the centerpiece of the next.
Andrew, speaking of Yui, you got your intimate moment with Yui there. I think, Andrew.
I was pretty psyched. I thought that was great. I was like, damn, there's chemistry here. Clearly there's a tension in the room that you can cut, but it's the kind of tension that comes with romantic feelings. You know, clearly he's interested because he was just straight up staring at her. You know,
she's beautiful, and it's like she had to apply her makeup, and it was just like,
it's like isn't it good enough? He's like, no, I'm going to make sure.
They're arguing like an old married couple in a way. He's like, isn't that enough makeup? And she's like, no, of course not. That's how you know they're in love, man. Totally in love.
All right,
clearly.
But with everything that we talked about last episode, I must admit I get a little less enthusiastic now when I see him on camera. I don't know what's going to happen, and I think I'm starting to lower my expectations a little bit. I'm happy to see them together, but I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Like this show,
we're going to get to the end of this season, Trey, and we're just going to see him
degrade.
Just watching the episode. And just all of a sudden, it's like, yes, Yui and Hikigaya are going to get together, and he's just gonna fall over dead on the couch.
I might just die of a heart attack.
You're just gonna have a heart attack and die.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be completely great. Just watch. He's either going to die or he's just going to be upset.
You're actually lucky that you can actually see his reactions when you guys watch the episode.
No,
I have to watch the episode.
I'm gonna watch the last episode alone. I'm not going to let anybody see that. You'll know whether or not I've died because I won't be answering any text messages and we won't have a last podcast. That'll be the finale. It'll just end on a cliffhanger. No, but I was happy to see him together. Yui did look great. I liked her dress. And what I thought was really adorable was when Hikigaya says to Yui, as they're dancing, they're holding hands, they're really close together, and Hikigaya just kind of goes into that mode of embarrassment that every guy enters when you're dancing with a pretty girl or the girl of your dreams even, and you just start like hyper analyzing on all the things that might be wrong about the situation. You know, he says to her, I'm sorry, I'm super sweaty right now. I bet it's really gross. You know, I bet I'm just like straight up disgusting right now. Right. And Yui's like, no, you're fine. Let's just,
stop putting yourself down, dude.
Yeah. Like she was enjoying it. And thankfully, you know, she likes him too. So it didn't ruin the mood or anything. She actually found it kind of endearing. But I think that most guys who've been in that kind of situation, we can all look at that moment and sympathize. It hurt me a little bit as I was watching it, but at the same time, I'm like, well, at least it goes to show that he has feelings for her in some way, and that, like, at the end of the day, Hikigaya is still a dude, and he will get easily embarrassed by typical dude things.
It's like the problem is he didn't have to vocalize it. We all have that moment. You don't have to vocalize it.
Yeah, he's just vocalizing everything that's happening. It's like, dude, stop it.
In that moment, you do some dumb shit, man. You really do.
These sorts of moments are just kind of a situation. It's like where you're watching everything on screen, you know what's going to happen, and you see how it's going to end. You're just like, no, stop! I'm dying.
I can't watch this.
It's cringe.
It's the kind of thing that you only think about in the shower when you can like hide your face. But yeah, no, it was good getting to see them have that moment, and well, the episode just kind of wraps up after that, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was a pretty, all things considered, even though we've talked a lot about the episode far, it was a pretty light episode, all things considered, kind of a in-between sort of thing.
It was rewarding, really. It was a very rewarding episode. You got to see a lot of payoff with, you know, Komachi and Hikigaya. Also got to see Hikigaya interact with a bunch of characters this episode that he normally doesn't get a lot of time with. He and Yui had a genuine moment. He and Yukino had a genuine moment where Yukino fixes his collar and his cuffs because he genuinely complimented her on the tailcoat. It wasn't even a compliment that he overanalyzed and thought about and awkwardly avoided. He just said it. And then Yukino accepted it. She was genuinely happy. She also didn't overanalyze the compliment. That kind of interaction never would have happened before this season. So that was great.
Yeah. Beginning Hikigaya from season 1. Yeah. It's that you can't really imagine him saying anything like that.
It's like character progression.
Character progression, man. It's a real thing. Who would have thought?
This is the type of episode where I can see myself going back to rewatch it after the season's over, when I just want a reminder of how good the show is, just a taste of like why I like this show. And it's an episode that won't stress me out. You know, it's just it's just a really light episode, kind of in between all of the drama. It's like, okay, yeah, you're just kind of more or less just kind of chilling out with the characters. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap up, so far the show has had a motif of cutting out a scene from the previous episode and extending it into the following episode. So in the first episode, it was just kind of redoing the end of season 2. In the second episode, we got to look back at the conversation with Haruno. In this episode, we got an extended scene in the teacher's lounge. What do you guys think is going to be the extended scene from this episode that will possibly appear in next week's episode?
The Totsuka interaction.
The Totsuka interaction. I don't know. That seems pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry, my friend.
We're going to see him again.
Totsuka. He just wants more Totsuka. That's all he wants.
Does.
Always. Every day of my life. It's been a very long 7 years since the first season aired.
It's like, in my opinion, I think the scene that they might extend could either be Kawasaki and Yui talking, since she was helping her put her dress on. There might have been a conversation there that we didn't see, or it'll be a scene involving the first set of dance, the dance scene that got cut out because they were like, well, looking back at it, it doesn't look that good.
Yeah, it's possible. There's a lot of places where we could cut back to it later and find more unspoken context. Yeah. We'll find out in the next episode. But you made a good point, Trey. I didn't make that connection yet, but that definitely has been happening every episode where we're just calling back to a previous scene and adding more onto it.
We shall see.
Oh, also, I also want to bring up the second song that everybody danced to when it stopped being elegant dance. It was just straight up party time. And everybody's just having a good time. That was fun too. You know, Hikigai, he walks off stage, you just kind of observed from far away, and he fucking smiled. He smiled. And it reminded me of when he smiled at the school festival while Yukino and Yui were performing on stage. That smile he gave was like totally bittersweet. It was, it was after he'd just gone through a huge ordeal, but this time he smiled out of just, being happy to be there. So
like, he understands the appeal of it, though he's also just kind of like, not sure if this is going to still be my thing or not for the actual deal.
Yeah. and that's fair, when
we'll see how the actual prom goes for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they play Skrillex at your prom, it's like, well, I don't really know how to dance to this anymore. I'm just going to stand by the punch bowl and just observe. It's cool, just not for me. I'm not speaking from experience.
Skrillex at a prom. That's a new one.
Oh, that was my prom.
Yeah.
That was definitely my senior prom.
Well then.
And yeah, then the next episode preview we got after the credits. It shows after the practice dance is over. It shows Hikigai standing in front of a very large coffee machine for some reason. I think he was freaking out about it. He looked pretty happy to be surrounded by all that Max coffee.
That's not what I got from the preview. What
did you get from the preview?
That he's going to be dealing with some Palpatine level shenanigans.
Oh, there's that too. I was getting there. No, but the coffee. The coffee is the most important thing to him. It's what makes him happy. It's what gives him strength. And I
that's what the teacher gave him at the start of the episode. Threw him another can of Max coffee. It's like, thanks for being here. It's like, and also, thanks for not telling people I'm being lazy. Now go, shoot.
She knows how to bribe him. But yeah, that was the big scene, was where we see Yukino's mom and Haruno again. And Hikigai and Yui walk in on a conversation Yukino's having with both of them. So we're getting right back to the shitfest next episode. We got this nice little break, a lot of payoff, a lot of fun, character interactions. Everybody's genuinely happy. It's not going to stay that way. And
we're going back to the drama.
Going back to the gut punch drama again. It's going to be wonderful. That's why we're really here, right? Right?
Right?
I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I'm ready to see what's gonna happen.
Spencer slurps up the drama. I was told this was a rom-com, and I've only barely gotten any of that.
We will get there, my friend. We will get there. All right, then on that note, let's wrap this up.
Okay, cool. Well then, thank you everybody for listening to our podcast. My name's Andrew.
I'm Trey.
And I'm Spencer.
All right, and please take a look at all the links in the description below this video, linking back to our website, to the comic book review we put up recently, and please check out some of our other podcasts that we've made up until now. Thank you, and we'll see you all next time.